All right, guys, welcome back into another episode of the show Baseball Podcast presented by Beyond the Monster. I am your host, Andrew Parker, and today's episode, we are right back into the Red Sox org. I have Jack Anderson on, and if somebody is not familiar with Jack Anderson by now, they definitely should be because he is coming off an excellent WBC where he had a fantastic outing against Team Mexico and that stacked lineup. And he is coming off a very, very successful year in AA Portland last year in the Red Sox system. So we do kind of talk about his WBC experience with Great Britain. We do talk about what kind of things he was up to over the offseason, kind of prepping him for 2026 as well. But before I shoot to that, I want to thank everybody. I have been beating on that drum of subscribing to the YouTube channel. I still would love anything there, but we did hit 500 subs, and I do appreciate everybody that has done that. It means the absolute world to me. So now we are going for 600. I'm not going to push you guys, but I do appreciate everybody that does that. But without further ado, let me shoot you onto the interview with Jack Anderson. All right, Jack, you are fresh off your WBC trip for Great Britain, and I know you are back down in Fort Myers now, but I do want to ask to start this off, how was the whole trip, the experience, and I guess how was everything with the WBC?
Yeah, it was awesome. Like it's definitely like a once in a lifetime, experience. My dad was born in London and like we are very close with, our family across the pond and being able to like represent, your family's heritage and play for a country like there really wasn't anything like it. But yeah, overall it was like experience I'm gonna remember for forever.
Yeah, that you bring up something unique, obviously with your family ties to the region you were representing. How many times, I guess, in your life have you, gone back over there and I guess in your words, just being in the position you're in, like, do you know anything about like the baseball scene back overseas and anything like that?
Uh, Not to a full extent. I know they're definitely trying to grow the game over there, and that's why the WBC is so good for that cause because it raises funds for them. It kind of gets a country that or like that isn't really known for baseball, like watching baseball. And we had some like schools over there that DM me and sent us videos of the kids like wearing like baseball pants and like trying to
I
like
love
learn
that.
the game, and it was really cool. And no, I used to go over there a lot with family before baseball kind of turned into the full-time year-round job. But we used to go over there every other year and explore and see family. And yeah, we spent a lot of time over there.
Yeah, I think that is like such an underrated aspect of the WBC and what it brings to the table of, a country where just, soccer obviously, well, football dominates it
Yeah,
over there. And I don't think that will ever be replaced in Europe as in our lifetimes. I truly don't see that ever happening, but
yeah.
it is very, very cool to see countries like, any of those European, even Czechia and all those other countries that are in it that are not known for baseball start to, get used to it and get a little taste of it. And you had a fantastic outing against Team Mexico, and I do want to talk about that because that Mexican team had a fantastic lineup. They obviously played very well, and they didn't end up making it out of pool play, but they were right there to the end. What was that experience like? Just getting to face a lineup like that and in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. It was just great experience overall. Like, obviously, I think, almost every player on the lineup was big leaguer or big league time. And obviously, like in the minors, that's your goal is to, soon be facing big league lineups. And it was a good way to just see where you're at and, see how your stuff pairs up against these bigger players. And on a big stage too, like in front of a lot of people, it's really good, just really good experience for the future.
What's also interesting is I've seen a lot of people talk about like the timing of it, and the WBC ended up happening in a time where all of you guys are still ramping up, and
Mhm.
you guys aren't fully full bearing out there on the mound yet. And I had watched you down on the backfields. I think maybe the week before you left for the WBC, and I know you were starting to gear up. But how hard is that to go from like that, throwing lives on the backfield? You're not in any games, and you go straight to the WBC. Like it's got to be hard.
Yeah, it was definitely an adjustment. Like and especially like navigating the pitch count. They had Great Britain had communicated to me that what my pitch count will be, and we had to make some adjustments with like, okay, let's ramp up a little quicker, safely, obviously, but let's push it a little bit just so I'm not completely like my arm isn't completely shocked from throwing more pitches. But I don't know, from a preparation standpoint, like I always like getting built up a little early in the off season. Like I want to be facing hitters for a good bit before I show up to spring training. I know everyone's different from that aspect, but it really wasn't, it didn't feel like I was just thrown out there. The environment definitely was different. Like the stadium, the fans compared to the Fort Myers backfields. But no, going into it, I definitely felt prepared, physically, like pitch movement, stuff like that. I was kind of just focusing on the when we would do lives, just making sure like all my pitches were doing what they were supposed to do. Like not solely focused on outcome at that time, just focusing on tuning up your arsenal and making sure like when you do enter a game environment, it's like everything's moving the way it's supposed to.
So with that, having that experience in pitching in that environment against Mexico, like you did, and that early on in your year, because obviously your 2026 season hasn't even technically started yet
Mhm.
on the box scores in the back of the baseball card numbers. But what do you think that experience is going to do for you to set you up for your 2026 year? Like, do you think that? I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be a positive thing, but what do you think is going to come from that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was just like it's just good momentum like going into the year. Every season, at least for me, like you break camp, but there's a lot of things that can happen. Like you can have your first outing of the season and you're back in, season form, and maybe you start off a little slow or you start off great. Like there's there's that kind of mindset when you leave where you're like, okay, like I've done everything I can. I've done like I'm prepared, but I think this experience, like in that setting, it made me, it just helped with like the confidence side of it. Just you've got some momentum now, and just keep doing your job, keep doing your daily stuff, and just keep the momentum going into the season.
Is that going to be hard to once you are making I don't know if you have yet since you gotten back, but trying to make an appearance on the in a minor league game or backing up a big league game, like it's got to be kind of hard taking a step back from that environment you were in.
Yeah, I threw live yesterday, and it in the beginning it definitely like just leading up to getting off the mound, it's like very different. Like before the
Oh yeah,
Mexico game, I didn't have a sip of caffeine that entire day because I didn't need it. Like adrenaline's pumping, like heart's racing. But I don't know. I've always tried to get in the habit of like anytime I step on a mound, because it's the same dimensions, it's the same distance, same mound. Um, I've always tried to get into a habit of like, as soon as you get on there, it's like it is the same game, it's the same situation. Like you're not going any lighter, or you're not, it's a whether it's a backfield or in a WBC environment. Like I'm gonna have the same mindset every time, just because I've learned like it gets easy. It's like a dangerous kind of habit to get into if you're solely reacting off the moment, because it can kind of lead you astray a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of the mindset with it. It's like every outing is, competition. You're trying to, raise your stock any way you can.
all right. One of my last questions on WBC before I move to something else. Was that the craziest environment that you've ever pitched in before? Is that up there for you?
Yeah, definitely up there. I threw one hitter when we played in Mexico last year at the
Okay, yeah, the
exhibition
exhibition
game.
game. Yeah.
That was pretty loud. I don't think, yeah, I think this was the craziest one. Like I didn't really hear a lot. Like once I got out there, it kind of like went a little numb, not numb, but like everything kind of tuned out. But it was after the solo home run to Nacho Alvarez where the whole stadium started chanting like Mexico, Mexico, and it was loud, and that was like the only time where I was like, oh wow, like I can't even hear my pitch calm stuff like that. But it was cool. Like it wasn't like a scary feeling. It was more like, okay, this is cool. Let's get back to work.
So I'm assuming the goal is I forgot what year the next one is, but I'm assuming you're going to be circling the calendar, and I want to be on that team again.
Yeah, 2020, I'm 2029. Yeah, 3 years.
2029.
So yeah, after this past experience, it's like, yeah, why not keep it going?
Okay. Yeah, circle. I would love to see you back on the squad in 2029, and hopefully after you make a big league debut and all of that too. So I'm sure
Yeah,
you'll be in a much different spot. But I do want to ask as well. Obviously you are entering year 2 in the Red Sox org now after being a Rule 5 pick in I think the end of 24. Man, time has flown on that.
yeah.
But how has the time gone so far in the Red Sox org? Like, what are your thoughts?
I've loved it. Like the Red Sox are they're a very good org. They organized like top to bottom. The developmental side is really really good. Like I've got some really good relationships with some of my pitching coaches and the managers and the coordinators. Like they definitely know their stuff. Like they put the time in to try and get the product on the field as good as possible.
You looked pretty comfortable last year in Portland, and I know the back of the baseball card numbers looked pretty good as well. And I think anybody that watched you last year could see that you were comfortable at the level. You didn't have much trouble getting a lot of guys out at the Double A level. What clicked for you last year? Like what do you think helped you find success? I know you had it in I guess at the end of your Tigers tenure as well, but what do you think was working for you last year?
Um, I think I think it was a mix of things, like kind of learning because pitchers like it takes a little bit to mature as a pitcher and like you start to really know your arsenal. Like I think that was big for me is knowing exactly like who I am, how I pitch, and just like embracing that strategy until a hitter forces you to change a plan. um, I think the splitter was really a career changer for me. And I learned that my last year with the Tigers. And it took a little bit of time for me to get, familiar with it and be able to locate it. But I think last year was when, it was a pitch that I could really rely on in two strikes. And I've never really been a strikeout guy up until, last year. And I think that was, from the help of the splitter that, I was able to execute it when I needed to, rather than before when it was like kind of a coin flip of what it was actually going to do. But yeah, I think last year was really just like, learning what works for, my arsenal. I've got a slightly different, strategy of pitching than other guys, and I've got to mix and locate and just kind of treating every at bat like a chess match, trying to outsmart them a little bit.
So for the fans that may not be as familiar with you, and I know you just mentioned adding the splitter has kind of been a game changer for yourself, but what does the rest of the arsenal look like? Like what if you had to describe yourself as a pitcher, like how would you do that?
I would say I throw a good amount of pitches and throw a lot of strikes. I've always, tried to live around the zone. I always pride myself in not giving up free bases. Like if they're going to beat me, I want them to do it, in the zone. I don't want to, like guys on base and then that solo home run turns into a 2 or 3 run home run and things get worse. But yeah, the arsenal is a fastball with a cutter, sweeper now that we added, and a curveball and a splitter.
Okay. And I did see when you were on the backfield before you left for the WBC, I think you were touching around 94 is what I was told.
Mhm.
And what was that? I guess when you went over to the WBC, was that around the same ballpark? Like, or were you tick up from the adrenaline? I guess what did that look like?
No, I was actually I was actually a tick down. I was pretty,
Oh,
after I had that first outing in spring training, like arm was feeling really good, fresh. In spring training though, it's pretty common. Like like I want to throw harder. Like, it's
yeah, yeah,
every pitcher wants to throw harder. So just to clear that up. But the spring training is you get a lot of ebbs and flows before you get into the season just because of the workload change. Just, overall just the schedule. But yeah, after that first live, I was, really excited about it. We did a lot of velocity training in the off season. And then we got out to the game. I was feeling amped, and the first pitch, I look up and I was like, oh gosh, like why isn't that harder? But um, no, it didn't like affect me too much seeing the velocity just because I've had to learn how to pitch without it. So I still, felt confident, but yeah, it was definitely like I was hoping to see a little bit more, but it's just the ebbs and flows of spring training. So I'm still pretty confident with the velocity there.
you still put up outs too. So that
Yeah.
was one of the most important things I think. So yeah, I had to ask because I didn't know like if the adrenaline was pumping. If you're like, man, I was hitting like 95 or something, but it was early in spring training still. I mean, I guess you guys don't even break camp for another couple weeks, but and then that is also another thing as well. If you wherever, I'm not going to assume where you're reporting, whether if you're going to Portland, Worcester, wherever it is, but it's going to be cold. It's going to
Yeah.
be real cold. I saw I know Worcester's opening day is later next week, and I think it's going to be like 30 and snowing in
Yeah.
midweek. So I
Yeah.
would assume that a lot of guys that go out there, their velocity will not be up, and it might be a little tough, but it's just the ebbs and flows of spring training. I like how you put that.
Yeah.
Um, so you did mention that you did a lot of velocity training over the off season. Was that your main focus? I guess what did you use your off season to truly focus on? Was it the velocity?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's been the focus since I've been in pro ball. It's been, the area where that probably needs a little tick higher. So we try, and the off season's your time. It's not really an off season. Like you're training just as hard. I took like a week and a half off throwing after the season, then you start building up. And yeah, velocity was definitely the main priority. We were doing some mechanical stuff. We were getting in the weight room, trying to get bigger, trying to put on a few more pounds. And yeah, it's good too because I'm feeling good, arms feeling good from it. So I'm confident that it'll start to kind of blend together.
Yeah, it's something unique. I feel like because I feel like it's easier said than done. Like you said earlier, it's like, hey, I want to throw harder. Don't get me
Hmm.
wrong, but you've been working on it since you turned pro ball, and it seems like and a lot of fans obviously are very obsessed with velocity. And I don't know if you're a social media guy, but if I ever tweet about somebody in the system or something, they're just like, oh, well, how hard is he throwing? That's like the first question you always get. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I, I I did figure that it was probably a lot of velocity training. Where are you in the off season? Where do you spend your off seasons?
So my wife and I are in Tampa, Florida. So
Okay.
I grew up there. We lived in Atlanta for a couple of years after uh my first few years in pro ball. And then we moved back to, be closer to family. And I've got a, facility there that, I really trust and I like what they do there. And um yeah,
I didn't even realize you were a Florida State guy until I just looked at it.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. How are you feeling about the football program these days?
Um at times it's interesting to watch. I mean, obviously, I'm always rooting for them. I'm always,
Oh yeah.
each year, like they come out and you're optimistic, but I mean, it's definitely fun to watch their baseball program. Like, so that
There
that
you go.
helps. Yeah, that helps following the baseball side. But I don't know. I always, when the football season starts, you're always optimistic. So you just gotta see how it plays out.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a Mizzou guy, and
Oh, okay.
our baseball's been a little down lately, so I always try to stick to football, where we're at least like a top 20-ish team.
Yeah.
Never that good to be in the top 10, but we're good enough to be ranked. I hate it. I hate being in that area. But I'm optimistic, like you said, every year, and then it kind of hurts me a little bit. But
Yeah.
I know the Florida State football fan base is crazy, and they are very loyal, and they just want success. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
do appreciate their fan base a little bit.
Yeah, they've got, I mean, we've got a really good fan base and um yeah, just very, like you said, very, very loyal. Like,
Oh yeah, no, it's impressive, and trust me, for a guy that I went to school in the middle of Missouri, like I would love that kind of fan base all the time. So definitely
mhm.
lucky. All right, so I like asking a couple questions just for maybe if fans are watching this and this is their first time seeing, getting to know you a little bit off the field. What do you like doing in your free time? Like if you're not like training, you're not like do at the state complex, whatever it is. Like what are you doing?
So my wife and I like trying out different food spots. We're, kind of creeping through like Tampa, trying to find hidden gems, stuff like that. Um, I have played guitar for about 12 years now, so
Okay.
yeah, so always like just jamming out in the evenings. My roommate's Noah Song actually, and he plays as well. So now in spring training, like in the evenings, we'll kind of just play some songs and stuff like that. We'll go. I've been recently trying to get a little into golf. I've been trying, like my dad's very good at it, and he's been kind of like, all right, you gotta, get a little. I gotta be able to get through an 18 hole course, but yeah, we've been going to, the driving range a little bit here and there. So yeah, all, relatively normal stuff outside the ballpark.
I was gonna say Tampa area's got such good golf courses too. Like you
Yeah,
got so many to choose from down there.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna blow a secret here that I have in the Tampa area. So I have an aunt that lives down on an island outside of St. Pete called Tierra Verde. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Um, there's a restaurant on Tierra Verde that I think has some of the best fish I've ever had down in
Really,
Florida. It's called Billy Stone Crab.
Billy
So
Stone Crab.
if you and the wife are ever looking to go to try something new on a weekend, maybe in the off season, whatever it is, Billy Stone Crab on Tierra Verde. Then you go down to Fort DeSoto Park. It's a
Mhm.
state park down there, and it's a good day. So
Yeah,
I'll give you that one as a non-local, but
yeah, please
um,
do.
yeah, I
Yeah,
just
that
hit it
sounds
up.
that sounds like a good plan.
It's so good, man. It's got like, there's they call it the loft that's upstairs. That's the good spot to go because downstairs it's
Mhm.
like, they have like all the dining area, but then the upstairs it's all open window and it's looking straight out at the water, and their fish is incredible. So
Really,
highly recommend that. I just blew a secret spot for me, but I'll do that for you since
it's
you're a
all good.
local guy.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
keep it under the radar.
yeah, it's so good, and it's Tierra Verde is obviously very quiet because it's a little small island out off of St. Pete, so
Mhm.
good spot down there. So you said you were playing guitar with Noah. Are your neighbors hating you guys yet, or how's that been going this spring?
No, we've got pretty good etiquette with it. We keep the amps down. We don't we're not like shredding on guitar super late. So yeah, we try and keep it, to a low volume or use head you can use headphones now. So we're definitely aware of the possibility of making some people upset. So we try and keep the volume down.
That's fair. Are you like playing like covers? Like what is your guys go to?
Um Yeah, I've been kind of switching back and forth from acoustic and electric. I was pretty much only on electric for, the last 2 years and kind of left my acoustic guitar kind of like on the side, like was having fun, just learning. I go down like rabbit holes on, the music theory side of it. It helps you like learn the scales and you can improvise where you play a song that like a pop song or like a modern song. If you can find the key, you can kind of just play along with it. It's fun. You can play any song. But yeah, recently kind of got back into acoustic because I felt bad. I hadn't been playing that guitar in like years, so I was like, "Ah, I'll bring it back out."
Have you ever, do you think you'll ever get to the point, or if you have you ever gotten into actually like writing your own music yet? Or,
I don't think so.
okay.
I looked into it. I looked into like what goes into that, and I just like I it's super casual for me. Like
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not trying to play, in front of, like at a bar or something like that. I'm trying to just,
That's
it
fair. Yeah.
just helps me in the evening. Um, but yeah, I don't think I'd be too good at at writing songs. So I stick
Okay.
to what I've learned what to do.
I just needed a heads up on if there was going to be a Red Sox, pitcher, in the near future, going to be releasing their own single or something. I wanted to make sure I was first on that. So,
No, I don't think
um,
so. I can't sing at all, so it's like
okay,
that
that's fair.
that kind of eliminates that possibility.
Okay, staying in the lane. I like it.
Yeah.
No, I had to ask because some guys are into that, so they're like, yeah, maybe I would
Oh
like to
yeah.
write my own song, play my own song, like that kind of stuff. So, no, it's still cool though. Even casually into it, I find that fascinating. I wish I could knew how to play an instrument because I feel like I was a little behind the eight ball when I was growing up on that. But
Yeah. Well, never too late. Guitar's not it's not they always say it's like it's easy to learn. It's just really hard to master. Like there's a lot of stuff online that you could always, I mean, that's how I learned. So it's
I was really into it when I was a kid because I mean we're around the same age. Like Guitar Hero was like a huge thing when we were growing
yeah.
up, and I didn't realize this at the time. But when I was holding a guitar, I I just felt comfortable to hold it that way. And then I remember my dad like walking in, he's like, you're holding that left-handed, and I'm
Oh
I'm, I'm
really?
always right-handed, so I was playing guitar left-handed because it just felt comfortable, and I tried to do it the other way,
Yeah.
wasn't it? So I'm like, dang, like maybe I don't know if I ever try to play guitar, like I feel like I might be left-handed, which I don't know if that's like a rare thing in music. I don't know.
I mean, they definitely have left-handed guitars. It definitely is a little bit less common, but that's interesting though.
I don't know why. It's just like a kid, and I was like
I
playing
couldn't
Guitar Hero.
imagine I couldn't imagine trying to play anything left-handed. So
I don't know. I can't either. That's why I was kind of like, what do you mean it's like left hand? I tried it the other way and it just didn't feel right. So
yeah.
yeah, apparently I play it left-handed. So that's learned that in Guitar Hero back in middle school or whenever the hell that was.
Yeah.
So all right, Jack, I got one question left and I will let you slide here. Obviously we have I might label this, I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but I feel like this is like a pretty important year for you, just with having that success you had last year in double A, and potentially spending some time in triple A and getting one step closer to the big leagues, and obviously having that great WBC experience to start the year. Do you have any goals set for this year? Like, do you have anything in mind that you really want to accomplish in 2026?
Yeah. I mean, I think every player in the minors is their goal, should be to debut. So, that's my goal. That's been my goal since I got into pro ball. I think if you were to ask, a lot of other players kind of grinding it out in the minors, because it is, it's a tough lifestyle, and you gotta, deal with a lot of, failures and stuff like that. But yeah, the ultimate goal is always to debut and to, help the big league team on, whatever org you're in.
Yeah, I should probably start excluding the debuting for a lot of guys, but no, because I do feel like obviously like that's I would hope everybody would want to debut.
Yeah.
I'm saying so,
Yeah.
but no, I'll accept that one. I'll accept that one this time, but you might ruin it for the next guy there. But all right, Jack, I appreciate all the time. Obviously, wishing you best of luck as we head towards reporting here to the
Mhm.
affiliates in a couple weeks. So thank you for doing this.
Awesome. Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me on.